It's a blessing to welcome on the newest member of the Duke's 2021 recruiting class, currently a top three ranked class, in Jaylen Blakes. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, man. I think it's like our second or third interview now, but we've kind of talked a few times about this long high school career, this recruiting process, and now you finally came to your decision. You're heading up to Duke now, prestigious, one of the best schools to ever come, playing for Coach K. How you feeling right now?
It's a great feeling. I know that the future is bright
Hmm.
and just a little bittersweet because, 4 years spent at Blair, just the memories that I've made and the people that I've met. I'm so grateful for all the opportunities that I've had at Blair Academy with the coaches, the people that I've met, and just the academics and teachers. So those are relationships that I'll carry for a lifetime, but also looking forward to the new journey and the new chapter of my story and just continue to trust the hard work that I put in, the process, and be faithful and always continue to bet on myself. Excited to start the new journey with new teammates, new students, and new coaches. So I'm excited.
Now you have to walk us through this process a little bit because knowing you a little bit, like I'm not too shocked this is the way you took, but a lot of guys go and announce the top seven, the top five, narrow it down to maybe top three or something. You kind of kept it low key, you kept posting your offers, like we knew who was in the mix for you, but didn't really know who like that final group was for you. So then all of a sudden you come out one day, you're committed to Duke. Just kind of gotta walk us through these steps a little bit. Like how did this all go down and why are you now a Blue Devil?
It was obviously a different process due to coronavirus and the pandemic, just because the inability to get on campus, AAU kind of being shut down junior year, this season only having two games. So just really sitting with my family and understanding what we really want in this school, not just for the next 4 years, but for 40 years down the line, how it's going to prepare me for life after basketball, even prepare me to be a better man, which Blair has already done for me. So just regarding that whole process, it was fun. I'm thankful for all the schools that reached out to me, recruited me, offered me the past 2 years. The decision didn't come lightly. That I chose Duke, but at the end of the day, with my family and I felt that it was the right decision for myself to better myself as a person and be surrounded by a great environment on and off the floor to push myself to be better each day. That was kind of what we envisioned for myself in a college. And I'm thankful that I got the opportunity and I'm excited to start.
This kind of goes like a past year at this recruiting process. So a lot of guys, as you kind of experience now, like you'll get a couple of schools like, wow, I really like them. You maybe think maybe this is a school I will be going to. Then another school might come into play. Some things might change on the roster, whatnot. So kind of go through this past year, like 1 year ago from today, heading into what you hopefully were hoping for your senior year. We're going through that summer during quarantine. Like at that point in time, who were the heavy schools that you're looking at? Was it maybe in one school you were more leaning towards? Like who were you really liking a year ago?
A year ago, I think there were a few schools that were really recruiting me. I couldn't give you one that was really favored,
Mhm.
but I know that I'm just grateful for all the schools that recruited me and blessed to go through the process with my family, with my coaches, and kind of end up to the decision where I am now.
So at that point, could you imagine like Duke would actually come into the picture and offer you, or is that something like kind of we're started maybe dreaming of? Like, where were you, and when did it kind of come into reality that Duke might actually be an option for me?
Just the phrase that my coach always used with myself because I decided kind of late was just bet on yourself. I remained faithful, prayed day in and day out that I would know when the right school would come, and it's kind of a gut feeling that you have.
Mhm.
And Duke is a great school, and my coach was in contact with the assistant coach, and then they reached out to me like 2 weeks before I committed, and then that's really when it started to hit me after having conversations with Coach K and the staff, realizing that this is the best fit for me and just being excited to continue to grow myself and eventually and landed on that decision.
So we go back 2 weeks before you commit. Then who are the schools that you were heavily looking at? Like, was it maybe a top two, a top three? Like, who was that group of schools that you really liked when you're talking to a lot?
I was in contact with Colgate, BC, and Pitt a lot. So those were the other schools that were I was in communication with.
So when that conversation does come and you talk to Coach K, you get to know the coaching staff, and they eventually say, Jaylen, we want you to come to our school. Here's an offer. Like, we want you to be part of the 2021 class. Walk us through that all went down, like what your reaction was to that.
I'm extremely blessed to
Mhm.
receive an offer and be on the phone with them. It was a blessing. and just knowing that your hard work is kind of paying off, but there's even more work to do, and they see potential in you to grow, not just as a basketball player, but as a leader was very important to me, as well as the amazing academics that they have and alumni connections, as well as the prestigious basketball that they have. So it was a blessing to me that I was able to be put in that position, and take nothing lightly. I'm grateful for everything, and I'm just excited to get started as well.
And besides just the big bright lights of Duke basketball, the prestigious history of them, and just the fact that Coach K has done what he's done with NBA players, what he's done at the college level in terms of coaching, like besides all that, like what was his pitch to you? Like when he was trying to recruit you, what was his pitch like? What does he see you for you in the future? What does he want from you this year? Like what was his overall pitch to help land you?
I think he just thought I was a great fit for the Duke community as a whole, somewhere I can excel academically as well as athletically. And there was nothing promised. It's just the idea that I can go out and compete day in and day out, which is something that I'm very thankful for. And the common goal where our team next year is trying to win a national championship. So that's very important to us. And that's something that I pride myself on, and being surrounded by that.
The general fan might like look at your game and say, he might not be that good. They don't think of you as impactful as you truly are on the court, because what you do is stuff that you truly have to know the game of basketball to realize what you do. Like you're the guy that brings the plus minus up. You shoot super high percentage. You can still score at a high clip too, but it's not like the super crazy posterized. It's not going to be some of those crazy things you might get in Sports Center for. But you go out there, you're a winning mentality. You're going to lock up the best guard, the best player on the team. You're truly a lead in the locker room, both on and off the court. To kind of walk us through, like, what is Duke getting in you?
Just a guy that's going to compete day in and day out and try to push himself and be better than I was yesterday, as well as push my teammates. And at the end of the day, my overall goal is to win, whether I score 10 points, 20 points, 0 points. My overall good job and goal is to win as a team, and just be able to be a great person day in and day out and help boost morale. So that's my overall goal, and something I'm trying to bring is just competitiveness, because that's the most important thing you can build, because we have a very talented group returning, very talented group class coming in. So just my job is just to compete day in and day out.
Absolutely. We're going to wrap up talking a little bit more about Duke on the end of this, but I want fans to get to know you a little bit better, kind of your journey to get to this point. So let's kind of head back. You're obviously from New Jersey. It's where you're making a name for yourself. You built your brand out there. So what was it like growing up out there in New Jersey?
It's a great experience growing up in New Jersey, because you're surrounded by a basketball atmosphere where people are competing day in and day out, and it doesn't matter whether you're a 5-star, 0-star, 3-star, 4-star. Everybody is trying to go out and give you their best. So that's what it's like growing up in New Jersey. You're surrounded by basketball day in and day out, and you really have a great culture of players that have played before you, great future, and great players that are surrounding you. You play against day in and day out. So you just have greatness surrounding you in the basketball aspect, and that's been a great thing for me. So that's one of the things I'm thankful for, and I think Jersey has the best guards out there and best players out there. So that's something I'm happy for, and just say I'm from Jersey.
That is a huge thing. Like a lot of states in the country are more so like football. There's not too many like basketball areas just because it's more of a newer sport. Like not maybe the biggest areas, but especially the East Coast and specifically this place like New York, New Jersey. Like you guys, like you said, have that basketball atmosphere, and there's a loads of talent in each recruiting class, historical wise, up and coming that are elite guards, especially, but overall team players. So in terms of the basketball landscape, like you either go out there, you're playing against guys to AAU, maybe some street ball here and there, like all the different events you're part of. What was that like?
It's great. It's a great environment to be around if you want to be the best you can be, because you're going to work out with them. You're going to play against them constantly, and nobody's not going to give you any slack. They're going to go at you 100%. They expect you to do the same, because that's the Jersey mentality, is that we're going to give you the best every single day. And that's something that I try to carry on the court whenever I'm playing, and just whenever I'm working out with great players and just trying to grow. People I work out with who have been there, been where I want to go, just asking them for their advice, and they're always willing to help out.
So if you look at long term now, like all the guys that have been from New Jersey just playing the NBA, maybe even guys retired, but who would be your dream starting five? Like your top five guys from the state of New Jersey, who is on that list?
You have to go Kyrie.
Mm-hmm.
I know Shaq's from Jersey. Um, A Jersey legend, I'll say Briscoe,
Mhm.
Kyle Anderson. For the fifth one, I would go no, Jay Williams. Jay Williams played at Duke. He was great. So those players really stick out to me. And I work out with guys like Sterling Gibbs, Nate Pierre-Louis, Josh Treadwell. So those are great guys who I kind of look up to, had great college careers and even playing professionally. So that's something I look up to, and they always are willing to help me out.
Now, how about guys up and coming? So, guys in high school this past year, obviously, you guys didn't play much, but anyone that's in the 2021 class down to 2024, who would be your starting five? Like, give your best point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, and center of guys in New Jersey right now this past year?
I don't think I could answer that. There's too many great players. I don't think I can answer that one. There's too many great players. I don't think I can give you a straightforward answer on that one.
Without a doubt. Let's head into your high school career because you obviously attended Blair Academy. You walk away with a state championship. Your name probably would have been even higher up in the record books had you guys been able to play this past year and even got to finish up last year too. But take us to your first decisions. Like, why was Blair Academy the school you wanted to attend?
I previously attended Princeton Day School throughout my middle school, actually from kindergarten to eighth grade,
Mhm.
and just looking for that next level athletically as well as academically. And then we ended up finding Blair Academy because it has as similar to Duke, a prestigious athletic culture within basketball. And then academically, it's really one of the best schools in the country. So just being able to be surrounded in that environment was something that was really important to me. And we ended up landing on that decision. And it turned out to be one of the best decisions I made in my life because I'm so thankful for the teachers, the coaches, Coach Mantegna, Coach DeJesus, Coach Peruta, Coach Caldera, who have really helped me become a better man as well as a better player. And that's really something that's very important to me. And I always treasure my memories at Blair Academy. As for this season, I think we were kind of limited. We only had 2 games, but I'm grateful for those 2 games that we had because we won those games by, I think we were up by 30 in both those games. So our team was really talented. We were a special group, and I've had special groups throughout Blair, and I was really thankful that I was be able to surround by great coaches, great people, great students, and great mentors.
Now, because you decided to go to a route where you have to kind of learn, develop over time, you're playing with many of the great players. It wasn't a situation where you go in day one, you're the go-to guy, you're the leading scorer, and all that. It kind of took time to develop into that role. So that walk us through that first freshman year. Like, how did you develop that year, and how impactful was that freshman year for you going forward?
Yeah, it was very impactful for me because when coming into Blair, I wasn't necessarily a basketball recruit. I was supposed to play JV. I wasn't supposed to even touch the varsity court.
Mhm.
And just going in there, really just competing and just trying to give it my best shot, just given the opportunity to compete in the fall workouts that we have that are player run, and just really getting to prove myself and getting the opportunity to become um, a vital member of that freshman year team. And I know that I don't want everything thrown to me. I want to learn. I got the opportunity to learn from great upperclassmen who took me under their wing, brought me to the gym, and showed me the amount of work that it takes to put in to be great. So I'm really thankful for that. And through my freshman year, sophomore year, junior year, and now just passing it on to the younger guys that we have on our team is something that's really important to me.
So if I were to ask you heading into that freshman season that you're going to walk away as a guy that's a top 100 player, personally, I think you're much higher than that, but you're still a ranked player. You're a well-known guy. You're going to be able to commit to the school like Duke and have many other Division I high major offers. Like, was that something you could have imagined in your future at that point in time?
I was always I always believed in myself when others people didn't. I always had a certain confidence, never cockiness, but just a confidence about myself that I have the ability to be good. And I think that you have to have that kind of mentality for you to achieve the goals that you're at right now. And I still think that you always got to play with the chip on your shoulder because there's always somebody doubting you. And that's kind of the mentality that I always have. And just being able to see a vision and really work towards it because I was always working towards that, the 3 workouts a day. I'm not just working towards just to be there. I'm just working towards the vision that I have for myself, the goals that I have for myself, and that's very important to me.
So at that point, like walking your freshman year, like what was your future going to look like? Like, did you expect to start getting on varsity and playing heavy minutes your sophomore year like you did? Did you expect that to come later on? Like, when did you start really thinking everything was going to come to you? And really, what did you expect for your career at that point in time?
Going in, I wasn't expected to play varsity, as I said. So just any opportunity that I got. And I think the first time I ever realized I was playing varsity is when I got the sneakers from the team. And I was like, wow, I really made it. But it was never like, okay, I expect this, I expect this. It was just when you get the opportunity to play, just do your best. And eventually everything worked out. So I'm just grateful. And you can't just look at the long-term goal without handling your business day to day. And I was more focused on winning. And my team, the teams that I've been on at Blair, have always done that. And we had a great culture. We speak about uh, Mudita, which is vicarious joy for others, which is a philosophy that we have as a team that we're going to be excited for other people. And that's something that coaches instilled in me. And I was happy for everybody else that was playing and just the cause over itself. So it was never about me personally. Of course, I had dreams personally, but I was more focused on the team goal, which was winning.
So at what point in your high school career did it start really all coming together for you? You started saying, you know, I can actually be a guy that's going to play at a school like Duke. I want to be a high major guy. Like, when did it, like, not only the confidence set in with you, like you said you always have had, like, when did it all come together and you start feeling like, okay, I have the talent now, I have the confidence, like, I truly am one of, if not the best player every time I step on that court?
I think it was after my freshman year, just playing in the summer,
Hmm.
in the springtime against the seniors that I already played against, and just holding my own, and then just continue to battle against people that were already committed, just upperclassmen that already committed my next year, and realizing that okay, this is an opportunity that I have, and I have a vision for myself as well as preparing in the summer, day in and day out. I worked so hard to be in the position that I am today. So I always believed in myself and the work that I put in and continue to bet on myself in every step.
Now, that sophomore year, you achieve something that every high schooler dreams of, and that's coming with a state championship. And that's what you guys do. And you guys have a special roster there. Obviously, you guys bring in a guy in Jabri who you get to play with a couple of years. Ack comes in out there, and he also is going to decide to go play pro up in Australia this past year. You guys have all this kind of talent playing on this roster. So walk us through that season and how you guys ultimately became state champions.
That's one of the most talented group of people I've ever been around. You have Dexter Kano, Jordan Dingle, Jabri, Henry McKinney, Keenan Worthington, and you have Luke Collage, who's going to Yale. Jordan Dingle, as I said, is going to Penn. Dexter, he was at Marquette previously, and Keenan, as he's at Duke right now, as a walk-on. Henry McKinney was just at Marist. Jabri, he's going to Georgia. Ethan, he's played this year. He actually was hurt my junior year. Okolda, he's playing professionally. Dirk, Henry Myers. That group was very special because we all understood our role. And previously, our freshman year, the guys that were there and were turning my sophomore year, we ended up losing a heartbreaker in the state championship. We lost by 2, and we understood that what we needed to do to get there and overcome that kind of hurdle to be state champions, and that was the goal that we had together. We came together, and we were just so deep and so talented, and everybody understood their role from the best player to the 15th man. Everybody was committed, day in and day out. In practice, we were pushing each other. They were trash talking. We were battling, but we all did it. We were a family. We did it together, and it was just a special group of people, and it was just special to be a part of that. And I think we would have won it this year as well. So
There's that one trait I mentioned earlier that you have that really this kind of represents who you are as a player, and that's that winning mentality. And it kind of brings all together. You can score, play defense. Like at the end of the day, what happens when you're in the game is that you guys have a great production. You guys are probably going to come with a win or be very, very close to that loss if it is a loss. And you kind of look at it as relevant. You guys have an exceptional freshman year. You win a state championship sophomore year. Could have very likely won a state championship junior year. And obviously, who knows with senior years, only played 2 games, which also were undefeated. But what is that winning mentality? How did you make that up? Was that born in you? Did you develop over time? Like, how did that winning mentality come to you?
I think it was first instilled at a young age with my family, especially my dad. Even started when you're playing video games. My dad never wanted me to. I didn't like losing at all, so that was instilled in me. And I think whenever you put yourself out there, you're committed to either winning or losing. You have to give it your all every day. And I don't think it's fun being on the losing side. So I'm always going to try to attempt to be on the winning side because, as we can see with the pandemic, every opportunity you get there out there on the court or anything you do, you should be grateful for because it's very short and minimal. So it can be taken from you at any moment. So why not give it your all? Say you're a winner. So that's something that was always instilled in me at a young age, and always just to be competitive. Um, you're not going to be good if you're not competitive, as well as the work that I've put in. Um, you're not going to put all this hard work in just to lose, and not be determined to be in a team goal. And I think that was really instilled to me at Blair with the idea that cause over self, as I said before, is that you put the cause of the team before yourself. And that was something that was really important to me and instilled in me that the team really bought into and I bought into, where we've come out with, in my 4 years, a 76-11 record. So that's very important to me.
Now, the thing about a winning mentality is that you have on multiple occasions gone out and been the leading scorer, and that could very well be still accounted to what wins and all. But a winning mentality is like sometimes sacrificing you being a great player. Like, it might be nice if you don't score 20 plus. It might be nice to score 10 or maybe even under possibly. But you have a lot of assists, you have a lot of steals. Like, you main priority is to go lock up the other team. How have you as a person accepted that role? Because that might be something you do at Duke for the first couple of years too. Like, how do you accept that role and be okay being, you know what, I might not be the high scoring guy, but at the end of the day, we're going to win. Like, how'd you learn to accept that role?
I think Coach Mantegna really preached, as I said, cause over self and mudita, vicarious joy for others. And I think you're not a good team if you can't be happy for somebody else's success. And that's something that was really important to me. And it doesn't matter what I do, what it says on the stat sheet, because if we're winning at the end of the day, then as a team, we must be doing something right. And I'm happy with that. And if I have a bad day where I shoot bad, and I know that my teammates can help me out, then that's very important to me. And I'll get in the gym the next day. But at the end of the day, the overall goal is to win, not just for you to look good and lose. So that's the most important thing to me.
So the junior comes into play. You guys have another incredible season. Only have 4 losses in total that year. But you guys do add in another special guy that you kind of form a dynamic duo with, and Kyle. And he also reclassed going to Kansas this upcoming season. But discuss your guys' bond. Like, how'd you guys get to click? Do you guys know each other beforehand? Like, how did you guys become that dynamic duo you guys were last year?
We actually didn't know each other before, but as soon as you met him, Kyle just has a certain joy that he brings to a locker room. Just laughter, joking around, and we automatically became brothers. We text every day. This senior year, we wake up at 6 a.m. and always work out together. So we talk daily. In the summer, we're playing 2K against each other. He thinks he can beat me. He can't, but he's my brother on and off the court. We're gonna push each other day in and day out, and he's gonna do great things at Kansas. Kansas got a great player in him, a great person, because off the court we're talking constantly. We hang out constantly. He's my brother.
And there's another guy that, I talked a little bit about him, he came over for your sophomore year then, Jabri, who obviously battled the injury, wasn't able to play last year with you guys, and wasn't in the best situation this past year, so he obviously moved up to Georgia now. But what is Georgia getting in him? Like, when you're talking about all the skill he has, I know he's a top 50 player, but what is Georgia getting in Jabri now?
Georgia is getting a bucket. They are getting a bucket. Jabri, he would give me a few buckets junior year and sophomore year, but he's a great player. Even when he went out in the injury junior year, he was still cheering everybody on, helping players, just showing what a great teammate he is and a great person he is, and someone I talk to and look for advice, because he just understands everything. He's doing that at a high level, and something that I obviously am going towards. And he's a great person and someone that I really connected with, and he's a great player as well. And you're going to see that next year at Georgia, when he's giving people 20 and giving people fits, the defensive fits. And he's a great player, extremely hard worker. I thought I was in the gym, but he's in the gym constantly too. So that really helped me push myself as well.
Step away a little bit from Blair Academy is you also got the opportunity to go out there and play with, be a part of the Team USA mini camps, and that's also another big dream. Like, to go be a part of Team USA atmosphere is something that all guys dream of doing when they're growing up. So what was that like? Like, take us to that day when you found out you got invited to the mini camp. What was your reaction? How'd you find out?
that was that was a blessing. I know that my sister was actually she had a basketball camp at Duke that day, and I was actually with my family in the hotel because we were out there just watching her, just chilling for the weekend. It was like 2 years ago, and I got the call, and that was just a big a big blessing. I was grateful for that opportunity and just go out there and be surrounded by the great players, great people, and just the atmosphere where just there's so much talent and you can really prove yourself against the best of the best. And that's something everybody dreams of. It's just you say you're good, but if you could do it at that level, then that means a lot. And it was just a blessing to be invited, constantly be invited and just be surrounded by that level of talent.
That's the first time you and I met, and we also talked a little about that experience, but to go a little bit deeper into that, like you look at the guys that you're in there, and I think you were going into your junior year at that point. So obviously there's still only 1 year gap, but when you're talking about elite players, a 1 year gap is a huge difference. Like a lot of development change for the elite guys in 1 year. So you see these guys like Isaiah Todd, you see Jalen Green, Jay Gupp, like these elite guys heading into their senior year at that point in time. What was it like learning from those guys and having to play against them?
It's a great experience to have to play against them and even the players my age or younger
Hmm.
because you see the future, you see who you're going to compete against, you see people older that you can learn from. So it was just a great experience just to learn from them and learn from different people. You can learn from everybody you play against those. Everybody's so great there that they do one thing really well, and I got them to that point. So you can learn, and then you have great coaches that surround you so that you can learn from them as well. So it was a great learning experience and a great way to kind of measure yourself against the best.
Who were you the most shocked by when you remember back? Like, was there one guy that maybe heading into that you weren't too familiar with, you didn't know too much about, or maybe even was underranked? That when you walked away, you're like, man, this guy's gonna be real good.
I think a guy by the name of Keon Johnson was really good there. But everybody was really good. Everybody stood out to me. It was great to compete against them. So it was a great environment to be around.
Absolutely. Well, let's head into this past year then, because COVID comes into effect, and obviously it destroyed you guys' season for the most part. Like you said, only got 2 games this year. But how did you get better over this past year now? Like, you've had a year to pretty much just train on yourself, work out, get better, play 2 games or so. But like, how did you better yourself over the past over 365 days now?
I think the pandemic affected a lot of people, and there's many ways that you can get around it to help improve your game.
Mhm.
And I think those that are really dedicated to the game really were able to find that way. And just when the pandemic first hit, you're like, man, what can I do? I don't have the gym. But then I really said, all right, let me reflect on my game and see where I can get better. And I was texting my coach, Coach Mantegna, and Coach DeJesus, watching film with them and just trying to watch film on myself as well as NBA players, college players who are really good and something that I want to take from them. So I was constantly watching film 3 times a week, and I would go downstairs in my basement and dribble with my sister, who was also really good. She watch out for Michaela Blakes. So just trying to find different ways that I can improve my game and kind of gain a little advantage was very important to me. So, and then also just taking time to reflect with my family because going to boarding school, you don't get to see them all that often. So having dinner with them constantly, lunch all the time. So that was a great experience.
So how much better are you from this point from the last time we saw you? I mean, not including those 2 games, because obviously that could be a little harder just coming in out, not playing for so many months and playing 2 games. But from the last time we saw you playing fluently, which was your junior year, to this point right now, the guy's about to get on campus at Duke. How much better are you?
A lot better.
Hmm.
I put in a lot of work, study my game, and see where I can grow and play it against great players day in and day out in practice at Blair. So I'm a lot better than I was my junior year when the season ended because we didn't win the state championship that year. So that means I have to get a lot better and continue to grow my game. So I'm a lot better than I was.
Since you guys didn't get to play too much, you didn't get a whole lot of seeing action with obviously Ortega and Jaden, 2 big time players that are part of the program now. But those two will really be the focal point of the team next year. The 2 main guards, you and Kyle moving on now. So what can we expect from Ortega and Jaden? Like, what will they bring to the program for the next couple of years?
They're dogs. They're dogs. They're hungry to be better. They're hungry to be great. And I know that Tag is always working. Jay Fly, we call him Jay Fly. He's always working. But there's also people that you may not know right now, but you'll know next year. You have, unfortunately, Luau hurt himself, but He's a big man. He's really good. Brady Miller, he's committed to Bucknell. He's a lights out shooter. You have Ian Emegwu, who's going to be a junior next year. He's great. And then you have another guard, two guards by the name of Jaden Williams and Carnegie Johnson, who are really vocal points and really are going to be really good pieces for Blair next year. And they're going to be one of the best teams in the country. Everybody has to kind of watch out for them. And there's going to be, I wouldn't say I'll be shocked, but other people will be shocked. I won't be, though.
Absolutely, man. Well, over this 4-year career, you get to build a great relationship with one of the better coaches in New Jersey history, just even one of the more recognizable coaches in the country, too, and Coach Joe Mantegna. What was it like learning from him and just being around him throughout your career now?
He has so much knowledge about the game
Mm-hmm.
that you could really just, if you really are committed to this game, you could just soak it up and, build your game off of that. And I think one of the best parts about him is he's a great person who cares about you.
Mm-hmm.
I see him every day. He's a college counselor day in and day out. We have conversations for like 30 minutes. Just ask me how I'm doing. And the best thing about him is he's always going to be honest with you, straightforward, and he's going to push you to be great. I was really, really thankful for him, and he's a very great advocate for myself, as well as kind of Coach DeJesus, who really pushed me to be a better man. And he's a great skill developer. Day in, every single day at 12 o'clock during lunchtime, he comes to the gym and helps work us out, the team. So that's really a great opportunity. And I'm blessed to even meet those guys because just the influence they have with the basketball knowledge that they have, but also the great people that they are, the great men, the families. I know their families, their wives, sons and daughters. So they've really become my second family. And just my family loves them. They're grateful for them. So they're great people.
That's awesome, man. Well, kind of going back a little bit more into Duke stuff before we wrap this up. And obviously, we kind of already have the living on your own aspect down because you've done it now for the past 4 years. So that won't be too much of a problem for you. But still, it's going to be going to Duke, a new campus for yourself, new university. But there's a little bit more familiarity because you have a guy you've been teammates with before already out thinking. And like, how important would that be for you? Kind of just going as a freshman and have somebody you kind of already talked to, have a good relationship with. Like, how that can help benefit you next year?
It's going to benefit me a lot because he understands the ins and outs of the campuses, what to do, what not to do, and he can really guide me the way he did at Blair.
Mm-hmm.
He was in my junior year. He gave me my tour when I was in 8th grade. So he's really someone that I really look up to and really respect. So it's going to be great to really understand him so he can help me get familiar with campus, understand what I need to do to be prepared when I get there, not so that I'm just shocked. So that's a great tool to have. And he understands the game a lot and just understands the way of Duke. So it's very important to know him.
So when you went and talked to Coach K, you told him, hey, Coach, I'm going to come in your school now. I'm going to become a Blue Devil. How did you do that? And what was his reaction?
I called him with my family and let him know, and he was extremely excited.
Mm-hmm.
Smiling. We FaceTimed him, so he was extremely excited. It was a blessing.
Well, this 2021 class you're joining now is a top 3 class in the country. But from the guys you have on the team right now committed, you, Paolo, AJ, and Trevor, a loaded class clearly, top 5 like I already mentioned. How special is this group?
Special group. Mm-hmm. Extremely special group. I played against Paolo and both Trevor at USA Basketball. Extremely talented guys as well as great people. Adrian Griffin, you see highlights about him. He's great. Just his physique and the way he can play the game of basketball. We have a very special group coming in with the common goal of being the best versions of ourselves, as well as the common goal of just wanting to win a national championship, which is very important. And that's something that we're going to push each other towards. And I'm very excited for the group that we have coming in.
So when you were talking to these guys, like, did you get to really seriously get to know them a little bit better? Like after you commit, did any of them kind of recruit you in any way? Like, how did you get to really start knowing these guys? Like, was it beforehand or after you commit?
Yeah, I think it was after I committed, we kind of had conversations and they all reached out to me and really made me feel part of the family that they're kind of create, and they already created with the brotherhood. So that was really important to me and really meant a lot to me because all of them reached out to me and it was special.
Without a doubt. Well, a few more things before I let you go, one of which is going a little bit deeper into Coach K, because we know, obviously, like I said, he's one of the best coaches ever to coach in this game. So how excited to be able to learn from a guy of that knowledge, that caliber? Like how excited to be around in the same locker room, same campus as him?
Extremely excited to continue to grow my game, grow my knowledge of the game, and have someone of that caliber who understands the game in and out, who's coached great players. So he understands what it takes to get to that level. And as well as just a great person, speaking to him over the phone, understanding the person, the man that he is, and how he wants to develop everybody a part of the program into better people, better human beings is something that's very important to me. And so I'm extremely excited to get started and be surrounded by him.
So what does he expect from you your freshman year when you get back on that campus and you really start getting into his training camp, like all that stuff goes through? Come season time, like does he expect you to be a guy heavily involved off the bench, a possible starter? Like what does he want you to just bring the team in general? Like what does he want from Jaylen Blakes your freshman year?
He wants me to compete.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he wants me to do. He wants me to compete.
Absolutely, man. Well, I know I've asked you this before, but now you know your next chapter, and that's wrapping up discussing a legacy. So when you are done playing this game of basketball, what do you ultimately remembered for what you achieved both on and off the court?
I think off the court is the most important. That's something that is more important than anything I do on the court. I just want to be remembered as someone who can inspire people to be better, help out people who may not be able to help themselves, and just to continue to give back to those who gave back to me. And on the court, I just want to be remembered as a winner. I'm a great teammate, a great person, and then someone who was great around the community as well.
No doubt, man. Well, my final thing for you, give Duke fans your three biggest goals you have set for your Duke career.
Win a national championship.
Mm-hmm.
Win a national championship.
Absolutely, man. Congratulations on the big move once again, man. I'm excited to see what God's got next for you, and I appreciate taking time to come on today.
All right. Thank you for having me. Thank you very much.
Of course, most welcome on, man. God bless.
Thank you.